A very good evening. I'm Aditi Lamba bringing the South Asian news segment for tonight on Vision of Asia. As we wrap up this week, the US government still remains in a partial shutdown with much impacted at this point. We have been presenting various coverages on South Asian perspectives for the shutdown, and we again reach out to all of you viewers of ITV Gold, to all advocates, attorneys and federal employees to come speak with us about your story and your perspective on the partial US government shutdown. Reach us on events@itvgold.com. On that note, let's begin tonight's episode, which continues our segment of Vision of Asia, a look back at 2018 in review. But first, the headlines for tonight. India Association of Long Island hosts 2019 Executive Council Oath Ceremony in Long Island, New York. 2019 South Asian Take, Sikh American Voices and more featuring Amman Singh Seehra. More on the other side of the break on South Asians and their expressions. Stay with us on Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. We'll be right back. Welcome again, I'm Aditi Lamba and you are watching Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. Beginning the show tonight, we have an exclusive segment featuring one of our discussed subjects for this month. With much happening in the political, cultural and social dialogues pertaining to Sikh Americans and their voices, we at ITV Gold are trying to bring prominent voices, executives, advocates and speakers to discuss what impacts the Sikh American community in 2019. Amman Singh Seehra from SALDEF shares his views and much more on the current stand of Sikh Americans and their role towards raising awareness, advocating for change and resilience to empower more in the Sikh community. With much radical political rhetoric of the anti-immigrant sentiments and discrimination faced by several Americans and Sikh Americans, we present to you another segment of their take. You have been a huge part of SALDEF and other Sikh American organizations, and you have been a huge advocate for Sikh American voices. Where has this passion come from for you? And, talk to us a little bit about all of the work that you are currently involved with when it talks about Sikh American education, cultural awareness, and sort of integrating those parts into the community.
Sure. So for me, my Sikh identity was a big part of me growing up.
Yeah. Having
a turban in schools with just a handful of other Sikh students, you couldn't get by without someone saying, like, why do you wear that? And I think answering that thousands of times you realize that you're always an advocate for your faith, you're an advocate for your beliefs and your morals. I think I took a bigger step in that after 9/11. At the time I was in my first year of law school and I was actually considering going to medical school, and the day after 9/11, I could walk down the street, people started throwing rocks at me, throwing stuff at me. I'd walk into an elevator, everybody would walk out.
People threw rocks at you?
Yeah, you hear stuff on the streets all the time, people yelling, screaming, cases of road rage. There's just so many things going on, and it felt like, this is not right. I'm born and raised in New Jersey. I consider myself as American as I can get.
Right.
And realizing that Sikhs are part of that American fabric, I felt like I just need to act and do something about it. So I contacted SALDEF and began volunteering for them back in 2001. And it's been about 17 years, I believe, now that I've been volunteering for them, and we've expanded what we do, and they've done so much work for so many years.
Yeah.
Some of the programs that we focus on is our Sikh Lead program, which focuses on Sikh youth, getting them involved in politics, policy, also developing their leadership skills. We have another program called the Sikh Vote program, which focuses on getting Sikhs to be represented at the polls. We have a partnership with law enforcement where we do thousands of law enforcement trainings. We've also done trainings with the TSA and other federal organizations.
Right.
And a lot of other advocacy projects that we have lined up to make sure that the image of Sikhs and their understanding is better appreciated by the American culture.
Just talking a little bit more about this, diversity and inclusion is a huge part of your life motto. Anytime anyone reads on you on Google, that's all, it's stated there. When you have done over 15 years of work, especially in this, this one part of raising awareness on Sikh American population, what do you think are their concerns right now while you do, communicate with the population? And where do you think a lot of the responsibility for you lies when you are talking about Sikh American voices with all the work you've seen and all the things you've experienced personally as well?
Yeah, I think that it's such a big focus. I think now, particularly in this time frame over the past 2 years,
Yeah.
there's been a rise in hate crimes, the rise in incidences against all sorts of minorities. And I think that now is the time that we need to act. A lot of people voice their frustration. They may do so on social media. They may do so talking to their family and their friends. But there's only so much that saying stuff is going to make a difference. It's about acting, showing up to events, showing up to different advocacy events, making sure your voice is heard. And part of our job with SOLDEF is to amplify that voice, to make sure that that voice is being listened to by key people, and also making sure that Sikh Americans, as well as all minorities, are in that decision-making process. They're more involved within all sorts of American life.
When you look at Sikhism and the faith and what it brings to the table and the positive messages, how does someone who is getting discriminated at, or who is, who has these fears because of their representation, how do they take these values and sort of combat that? What's an advice you would give to these individuals?
I think that that concept of Chardi Kala, or eternal optimism, is such an important role for all Sikhs. And I think that it's such a massive asset for anyone who has dealt with any type of discriminatory issues as well. Because a lot of the times, whenever someone has some kind of incident, they react negatively, impulsively, and I think that optimism allows you to view it from a different lens and realize it as a teaching moment. So whenever you have that issue or incident, you look at it as a moment to correct it instead of get mad and frustrated, but to see that there's an opportunity for learning, an opportunity to educate, an opportunity to make a difference. And that's that mindset, I think, that provides an optimal place to make a difference in this world.
So, just talking a little bit more on this, how important do you think it is for people or individuals that face discrimination, or that could be facing bullying, or any kind of targets due to their physical representation, be it a Muslim American, a Sikh American, a Hindu American, or a Christian American? How important do you think it is at this point in 2019 for them to speak up, perhaps reach out to personalities like you, or in SOLDEF, or even in the government? How important do you think that is?
I think it's extremely important. There's such an underrepresentation of, an underreporting of different incidences that occur, and I think that in order to correct these, it needs to be properly measured. And even within our mission statement, it's to empower Sikh Americans by building dialogue, deepening understanding, promoting civic and political participation, and upholding social justice and religious freedom for all Americans. So it's not just about Sikh Americans. It's about working and partnering with all those other organizations, Muslim Americans, Jewish Americans, Christian Americans, and making sure that we all can work together to make sure that everybody's rights are being upheld. So first step is, if you have an incident, report it. And no matter how big or small, report it to not only to different organizations. SOLDEF, we do a lot of reporting, but there's a lot of other Sikh organizations and Muslim organizations that track this as well. But also report it to your local police department, regardless of how small or little it is. I know, at least for myself, growing up and hearing a lot of these things within schools, within life, you kind of become a little bit numb to them. You try to avoid them. At some point you progress and learn, this is a learning experience. But you have to make it part of your conscious decision to be like, I should also report this. It's not just about dealing with a situation in the moment, but reporting it so that future generations understand that this is a problem and that it can be corrected. It's not just for yourself, but for helping others, to make sure that it can be measured and reported.
The newly elected Executive Council of India Association of Long Island recently held its 2019 swearing-in ceremony in Long Island, New York. The event saw swearing in of the new office holders in the presence of a large number of guests, including past presidents of the association, dignitaries, community leaders, and other members and invited guests. This year, the event took place at the popular Theodore Roosevelt Executive and Legislative Building, with much said on the progress of Indian Association of Long Island in representing South Asian interests and voices. Let's take a look.
And this year, our message from IALI is that we want to empower our Indian Association of Long Island members, and we are starting new programs, and we'll love to see you all there. Thank you. Our objective this year is, for 2019, is to increase our membership more And also we are introducing new programs, especially for youth. That's our objective this year, to bring more and more youth and get them involved in our programs.
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे संभवामि युगे युगे
I will faithfully execute
the
position of your position of the IALI and the best of my ability to preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of IALI, the State of New York and the United States of America. So help me God. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. Respected past presidents, the EC of 2019, and all the wonderful members of IALI. On this evening, I welcome you all. It is a wonderful organization. It is the only broad-based organization where it does not matter. We are people from South, North, East, West, and it's inclusive of everybody. It does not depend upon your religion. It does not depend on your region. And that is the beauty of IALI. And that is how we have managed to grow it for, over 2,000 members. We have a great team for 2019, and I wish them all the best in their 2019, their campaign promises, and whatever they want to accomplish this year. Please give them 200% support, because only with your support will they be able to accomplish that. Thank you very much.
Events like this are what Nassau County is all about. And bringing the community in here to government and everybody working together is what our county needs to be about in the future. And I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that recently my office completed a demographic study of the county, and we took a look at our county's population for the first time in a while, and the results were amazing. They may not have been amazing. I think folks in this room knew what we were going to find, but it was amazing. It was on the cover of Newsday recently about the new face of Nassau County. And what it shows is that just as has been the case in the past, people from all over the world are coming here to Nassau County because of what we have as a county to offer. And in all seriousness, that means that Nassau County government has changed, that Nassau County has changed, our population has changed, right? And because our population has changed, in the Comptroller's office, our job is to point out to the rest of Nassau County government that government has to change as well.
I want to thank all of you once again for electing IALI Executive Council team for 2019. I assure you that you made the best choice. I want to congratulate all my elected ECO members. Give a big hand for my ECO team, please. Standing committee and ad hoc committee officials. I'm sure that this is a great team and we will do our best for the association, community, with the help of all you IALI friends who came over here to honor me and to support me. And thank you very much again for coming, everybody.
This association is doing fantastic job to promote the culture of India. But we are going to start the programs which are not there before. That is my passion, like Youth Forum. Youth Forum is the forum where we will have the youth, those who could take our association to the new level. The second thing I like to do that senior forum is very, very important for us. Seniors deserve it. Seniors did a lot for us, and I like to start the programs are there, but I like to enhance the programs which we will give them the information. Thank you very much for the media. Thank you very much for everybody coming over here, and they supported me. From my heart, thank to them.
After the break, we bring you 2018 in review with much on South Asian Americans. Stay with us in Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. And welcome back. You're watching into Vision of Asia, bringing you prime South Asian highlights from all across. This is our special edition of a look back at 2018 in review, where we reflect upon some of the strongest displays of the diaspora this year. Beginning the review today in New Jersey, the Edison Chamber of Commerce comprises of a network of business in the Greater Edison Township area who are working together to promote economic growth and success in the field, empowering the larger number of South Asian businesses that thrive successfully in New Jersey. The Chamber hosted its 19th annual awards reception honoring more than a dozen businesses, individuals, and nonprofits and teachers who have made a difference in the lives of Edison residents.
Hi, I'm Assemblywoman Nancy Pinkin, and I'm here today with the Edison Chamber of Commerce and Joe Coyle, and we had a great night celebrating many honorees. Joe, what do you want to say a few words about this?
Yes, well, first, Assemblywoman, I appreciate your time coming out to support us. On behalf of the honorees, the Board of Directors, and our Chamber, we're so thrilled to have these great stories here in Edison, so what a good night. Happy it's over myself, and I'm looking forward to see my grandson.
We are extremely proud and excited to be the recipient of this very prestigious award. Thank you to Edison Township and the Chamber for your ongoing support, your collaboration, and your sense of commitment. And together, the JCC and the Township of Edison look forward to working together, creating positive impact in all the programs, activities, and events that we have to offer to our wonderful Edison.
Thank you guys for this amazing award. On behalf of the entire Edison Police Explorers, we'd like to thank you for this award, and I would just like to say we wouldn't be able to do this without our amazing advisors and our amazing members that help us. And we do a lot of community service events, and we take a lot of time and effort and put it back into the community, and we wouldn't be able to do it without the help of you guys and without the help of our members. So once again, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the freeholders here in Middlesex County, I want to thank you for what you do to make Middlesex shine. We are the second largest county in the state of New Jersey. We're actually population-wise larger than the state of Alaska, but we're the best county in the land. So I want to thank you. It's my privilege to give out the Student of the Year Award. Students are no longer these young people are no longer the future. Young people are the present. If you don't believe me, try setting up your entertainment system or operating a remote control. The young lady who I'd like to introduce to you has been a Girl Scout for 12 years. She's actually been involved in anti-bullying programs, and what I thought was most honorable about all of her accomplishments is her goal is to go off to college, learn to be an elementary school teacher, and come back to Edison and give back to the township that's given so much to her.
I'd like to start by saying I'm so thankful and grateful for the honor of being named Student of the Year, and I would like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for choosing me for this award. I did not see it coming, ever. When my mom told me, I was very surprised, actually. But ironically, though, the reason I'm standing here being able to accept this award is not because of me. I'm here due to the tremendous support system that I have behind me. And personally, I'd like to thank everyone who I got to invite here tonight, because each and every one of you has affected me in a positive way that has built my character to who I am today.
In New Jersey, the Share and Care Foundation hosted its 36th annual fundraising gala with a theme titled Educate a Child, Enable a Woman, Empower a Nation. With the goal of helping India's most marginalized communities, Share and Care Foundation's gala this year featured an exclusive musical concert with Indian music legend Padma Bhushan Javed Akhtar, titled Main Koi Aisa Geet Gaun. The event gathered hundreds of Indians in New Jersey along with community leaders and officials who were thrilled supporting the great cause of Share and Care Foundation while having the opportunity to interact and watch the music legend. Let's take a look. How does it feel, and why choose to work with Javed ji this year in order to help mobilize Share and Care more?
At Share and Care, we have to be very, very careful in understanding the current needs and how we can uplift people's lives. Bottom line, perfect humanity. And humanity is something which is not going to be coming by force. It is coming with love, with affection. We are fortunate that our friends are in this journey of love together. And because of that, people like Javed Saab, Shabana ji, they always come to help out Share and Care. Here today we are raising, say...
Time for another short break on Vision of Asia edition of a look back at 2018 in review. Stay with us, we'll be right back. And welcome again, I'm Aditi Lama and you are tuned into a special ongoing edition of Vision of Asia South Asian News segment, a look back at 2018 in review. Continuing our review of major South Asian stories of last year, let's now take a look at Ekal Vidyalya's 2018 Gala in New York City. With a theme reflecting upon the future of India, the gala brought together some of the most prominent Indian businesses and community leaders generously supporting the cause of enabling and mobilizing rural India by providing education to the underprivileged. The Ekal Vidyalaya New York Gala saw Indian icon actor Anupam Kher and former Apple CEO John Sculley as keynote speakers. It raised about $3 million. So, when you were here as a chief guest and you're here to talk about it, why support a cause like Ekal Vidyalaya?
It's very important to identify people who you would really want to support, and look at this, Mr. Vanchu. The kind of work that these people are doing is phenomenal, and to have small little schools in remotest of villages in India and to give them education is to create awareness about India and to give them hope and dreams.
Because as you know, in USA, Ekal started from my home. When Mr. Chug was chairman and Mohan Mittal came and Sri Ravi Shankar came and we launched the Ekal Vidyalaya. That's how it started there in 2000, year 2000. And now it's 18 years old. Actively, Ekal is working here in USA. And from there, look at that today. I understand that we are raising, they are raising, committee raising almost $10 million. So that shows, from US only, that shows that where we came from first school to $10 million in one event. And that's a great success. And it's a great cause. Everybody should support. And that's why I come year after year and support this cause.
Yeah, this organization is I think everybody should support it because it helps the women and the children, and especially in the village and tribal area, which is totally neglected. And when the children are educated, automatically it lifts the whole family. Woman is empowered, whole family is lifted. So I think Ekal Vidyalaya is doing great job. It is flourishing all over America. Only today they are doing the fundraising in Houston, in Washington and New York, and they have estimated 10 million project, so it is a great cause.
And this wraps up our segment of South Asian happenings for tonight with our edition of 2018 in review. Send us your suggestions to get your voices and organization on our show. Do write to us on events@itvgold.com or follow us on our Facebook handle @itvgold. Remember, you can also now subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch many of our popular shows for free. Tune in this Sunday 11 a.m. Eastern to watch our tip picks of the week with me. Thank you for tuning in tonight. This is Vision of Asia and I'm Aditi Lamba. Take care and be well.